Hello again, there, writers. A big part of the writing process is feedback. Not just the feedback you give yourself, but the feedback you get from others. There are three sources of feedback: student to self, reflection. We'll deal with that later. Teacher to student. We'll do that in some of our writing conferences. And student to student. That is a major source of feedback. You are all going to become experts in this field and offer each other feedback based on the things you know work well and what don't work well in a writing situation. The question becomes, what is a protocol, a process, a manner in which I can give feedback to my peers in a meaningful, structured, and effective way? That brings us to what we call the TAG protocol. The TAG protocol for peer review basically consists of three steps. Number one, you are going to tell the reader something you liked about the draft. Be as specific and precise as possible. Talk about a narrative move. Discuss the topic choice. Highlight a specific moment in the text that you liked. We want to lead with something positive because if you start with something negative, oftentimes people will turn off and not listen to anything you have to say. So don't be condescending about this. Don't simply say, hey, I really like how you used words and periods. That's condescending and patronizing. But find something redeeming about the writing that you enjoyed or something positive they could build on further. Secondly, you want to then ask the writers questions about the piece. Ask the writers questions about their drafts, probing questions, clarifying questions, thoughtful questions. You don't need to know the answer to these questions. It's the writer's job to respond to these questions. But the more questions you can ask, the more you get the writer thinking about the writing. So maybe you notice, what were you trying to go for in this section? What did you mean by this portion? Why did you put this adjective here? Did you ever think about doing this? Ask the writer as many questions as you can. At least one, of course, but the more the merrier. The more questions, the more answers. And then finally, you want to then give writers positive suggestions about their writing. We want to save the suggestions for the last piece. I know, techies, you often want to run to the suggestions. That's a dangling participle. You misplaced the semicolon. What kind of word is that? That is not where we want to start. That's where we want to finish. After we've built some ethos by telling them things they did well, by asking questions to gently wade into the critical portion, then we want to give those suggestions for the next steps. There are lots of different ways that you can start your tag responses. I give you here some samples, some starters, some different ways you can begin. You don't need to use any of these, but you want to use maybe something like this to enter in. Each of your feedback portions will basically be a short paragraph which will have these components, an informal paragraph that'll have these components where you're telling the writer things that you like about what they did. You're asking questions for the writer to think about and possibly wrestle with, and giving some positive suggestions that they could work on going forward. TAG. Let's play tag and tag your writers so that they have some meaningful feedback in a simple, constructive protocol, which we simply call tag. I look forward to seeing your work, and that is going to be the protocol we use in all of our writing.